Welcome.
Welcome.
This is
to
Purana
Purana.
Talk with Leon and Alan. We're having a good time. And we're studying the Garuda Purana. We're in chapter 25, I think, of the
Of
second.
Kanda 2,
Yeah, right.
the Dharma Kanda, sometimes called the Preta Kanda. And this one is subtitled On Sons and Grandsons. The Lord said, "Hereafter I shall explain precisely certain factors concerning men and women. A child after the age of 5 is established as such. He's able to know the various sense organs and differentiate colors. Death or bondage of living beings is a result of their previous actions. It is the sin that causes death. If there is miscarriage, there is no obsequial rite. Milk is distributed when infants die."
Wait, before you go anywhere. So you're saying the child from age 5 changes status.
This is like another example of one of these things that's telling us the same information again. This has all been covered, and it seems to be getting a very cursory reading here. It's going fast and skipping things, but yeah, a child after the age of 5 is established as such. He's able to know the various sense organs and differentiate colors, as if he couldn't do that when he was 1.
Well, he can communicate about it now.
Perhaps, yes.
That's the difference.
Death or bondage of living beings is a result of their previous actions. It is a sin that causes deaths. If there is miscarriage, there's no obsequial rite. Milk is distributed when infants die. Due to mishaps to children, if death occurs, water pots, milk puddings, etc. are made over as gifts. The rite in the event of the death of a child are the same as for the older people, except that the rites of Vrishotsarga and Mahadana are performed for the older people on the 11th and 12th days. And Vrishotsarga is the releasing bull, and Mahadana is big gift. Infants and older children of the neighborhood are fed and clothed. Water pots are gifted, whether the deceased is a boy, young man, or old. I think it's sort of interesting that on these occasions they make a point that something is given to the children. You give them kheer, you give them milk, or you give them gifts. When another child dies, it's as if there's, you're ritually required to comfort the other children so that their stress is mitigated to some extent by
water pot in this case. Right?
Water pots are gifted. Well, it says infants and older children of the neighborhood are fed and clothed. Then it says water pots are gifted. It doesn't say necessarily to a child, whether the deceased is a boy, young man, or old. So maybe to other families or something like that. Till the 2nd year, the dead body is merely buried. Thereafter, O foremost among birds, the body is cremated. A child is called infant till the teeth are cut. Till the tonsure ceremony, he is called a child. A boy till the kusha girdle is put, or unless he's a girl. This is in accordance with all sacred texts. So there you go. There is a footnote. Manji, the girdle of a Brahmin made of a triple string of munja grass. And it may well only be worn by boys. It's a boy's world, after all. When you're a boy, other boys check you out. Just saying.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah. In a lot of cultures, and still in Indian culture, oh God, they love their young men. And who can blame them? 9 to 10. From the time of conception till he is 16 months old, he is called infant. From 16 months to 27, he is called a boy. Again, unless he's a girl. From 27 months to the 5 years, he is called Kumara, or Kumari, I might say, is in fact the feminine form. From 5 to 9 years, he is called Palganda. Footnote, according to SSED, the boy from the 5th to the 16th year is called Palganda. Doesn't say what it means. He is known as Kishora till the 16th year. After the 16th year, he attains maturity. A boy's death occurring at the 5th year, whether normally or due to accident, all rites as mentioned above should be carried out, including the 10 pindas. Since the rites are not many, since contact with the worldly objects is of short duration, the body too is of small stature, the obsequies are not elaborate. If a child dies before the 5th year, the articles of diet and daily necessaries to which it is accustomed can be made over as gifts. Sons evolved out of the semen of Brahmins are favorites of divine sages in the same way, whether they are in the age group of children, young men, or old men. Both Yama and his emissaries too certainly consider. Period. The all-pervasive soul experiences both pleasure and pain. Forsaking the body like the serpent casting off its slough, the subtle soul of the size of the thumb roams about in an aerial form, oppressed by hunger. Hungry ghosts. Now, they footnoted thumb. The personal soul is the size of a thumb, it tells us. C.F. Mahabharata. Satyavati Akhyana, where Yama is stated to have forcibly dragged the thumb-sized soul out of the body of Satyavan. Devanagari. Angushta matram purusham nischakarsha baladayamaha. In case you're wondering. 18. Therefore, certainly gifts should be made. From the birth to the 5th year, uncooked things should be gifted to the Brahmana. If there is an accidental death after the 5th year, Vishotsarga and other rites are performed, but the rite of Sapindikarna is not necessary. It is on the 11th day that sons usually perform the 16 Shraddhas and make the Udakumbha and other similar gifts. In all case of all persons beyond the age of 5 at death, Brahmins should be fed, and major gifts offered according to capacity. The gift of earthen lamp should also be made. O foremost among birds, ghosts should be propitiated by due performance of rites. If the person does not perform the rite, he himself will become a ghost. So do it. Therefore, before other rites are accomplished, he should perform Ekodishta. Ekodishta, a Shraddha or funeral rite performed for one definite individual deceased, not including other ancestors. C.P. Mitakshara on the Yajnavalkya Smriti. Ekodishtam Parityajya Parvarnam na samacharet. Okay, therefore, before the rites are accomplished, he should perform Ekodishta for the mains, for appeasing his hunger, put the rice ball over darbas while wearing the sacred thread over the right shoulder. When this is done, the obsequial rites are completed. But this chapter is not. Thereby a son yields all pleasure to his parents. If dead early, he's born again in the family. Okay, if there's time, he might be back.
Okay.
I just as a side note, since I've been playing with my ancestors, on Ancestry.com, sponsors of tonight's show, that I've seen instances where a child is born, dies as an infant, and then another child is born later and given the same name. Now, it might just be because they really want a junior in the family,
well, or they're trying to honor a grandparent or something, some important person.
But it makes you wonder if they think he might be taking another run at it from the other side.
Yeah, it can happen.
Just as the same single sky, moon, or sun are reflected in different water pots, so also the Atman is reflected in different sons and daughters and roams about. The mentality of the progenitor at the time of sexual intercourse when the semen and the menstrual blood mingle is reflected in the child born of that union. Hence, we can say that the boy takes after the father. Again, the mother is here, right? There's menstrual blood, quote unquote, air quotes.
Well, they sort of warned you at the beginning. They said sons and grandsons. This is going to be about men.
When you're a boy. Okay. Men. It is possible that the child may differ in qualities but not in features. We have never seen a blind man procreating a blind man, a mute procreating a mute child, a deaf procreating a deaf child, or an idiot procreating an idiot. Look closer.
Yeah, pay attention. Here.
It may happen. There seem to be an awful lot of idiots running around. Of course, that's not the old meaning of the word, but the popular usage is basically all other drivers, for example, from my experience. Garuda said, we're at 31, there are 10 kinds of sons, S-O-N-S. And before I list them all, there's a footnote. Manu, however, enumerates 12 kinds of sons, grouped into 2 divisions, 6 Gotriyas and 6 Agotriyas. To the former belong Aurasa, Kshetraja, Dattaka, Kritrima, Gurhotpanna, Apavidha. To the latter belong Kanina, Sahodha, Krita, Paunarbhava, Swayam Datta, and Shaudra.
12 is convenient because you can match it up to the signs if you want to.
Well, that is convenient. 10 is convenient because you can match it up to your fingers and toes.
Yep, and do a bunch of other things, including the Kabbalistic Sephira.
Yeah, they were doing a lot of that in medieval India.
Well, I'm not so sure. We'll see.
Okay.
There are Jewish synagogues in India, but I don't know how old they are.
Not that old. So there is that lost tribe that wandered off into Maharashtra someplace. They found them later.
I would put nothing past India.
They've been away for a long time. But the other ones came, like, the South Indian Jews came from Spain, Inquisition era, and the Calcutta Jews came from Baghdad. There are 10 kinds of sons. Aurasa, legitimate. Kshetra, and 9 other kinds. That's sorry. Aurasa, legitimate. Kshetraja, procreated in one's wife by another man.
And surrogate.
Yeah, okay.
Surrogate.
That's a nice way to put it.
Right.
And others. They're really going to do that to us. I just want to say about Kshetraja, it is in completely literal terms. Kshetra means field and ja means born. So field born is an interesting way to refer to procreated in one's wife by another man and others. There is a son, Sangrihitra, adopted, or Dasi Putra, son of a slave girl.
Oh boy.
Screwing around with the help. I mean, like, I mean, now that we're talking a long time ago, there were no cell phones, there was no television, there were long nights with nothing going on.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying,
Oh, yeah.
how do those sons perform rites for their fathers? So that's the point here, since we were just being silly otherwise. But the point here is, what about the cases where the otherwise legitimate descendant, by status quo norms, is not available? What happens? How do these sons perform rites for their fathers? What is the goal they attain? If anyone has only daughters,
Mm-hmm.
it happens. In India, it's considered a big curse. That's really a problem and very expensive.
Yeah, it's true.
Or else you have a house full of unmarried women for the rest of time. So, if one has only daughters and no son or grandson, who should perform Shraddha rites for him? What are the rules regarding the same? The Lord said, a man is released from his debt to the mains on seeing his son's face. A man is released from 3 types of debts on seeing his grandson. Footnote, everyone who is born has 3 debts to pay off, to sages, to gods, and to mains. He who learns the Vedas, offers sacrifices to gods, and begets a son, becomes free from the 3 debts. Everybody's happy. Have a son.
And I guess every time you see their face, you pay off the debt.
A man is released from 3 types of debts on seeing his grandson. Well, just on knowing that the grandson is there, that means the debts are paid off. I'm, moving to Lake Havasu City. It's retirement paradise for me.
Mm-hmm.
On seeing his son, grandson, and great-grandson, he attains eternal or celestial worlds. The Kshetraja and other sons, the field-born son, I like that, contribute to his worldly welfare. The Aurasa, legitimate son, performs Parvana duly. The other 9 types of son perform Ekodishta, Shraddha, not Parvana. Parvana is the general ceremony of offering oblations to the mains on the 14th day of each half of month in the days of the full and new moon, for one's deceased, one's ancestors. The Brahmin son takes one upward. But the adopted son causes his downfall. If the latter were to perform the annual Shraddha, it would result only in his falling into hell. O bird, the Gitri, excuse me. Jesus. The Sangritri son may very well make gifts, excluding cooked foodstuff. He shall perform only Ekodishta and not Parvana. If he proceeds in this manner every year, there is no harm. If he forsakes Ekodishta and performs Parvana, he makes himself and the mains victims of Yama's wrath. The Sangritri, Dasiputra, and other sons should perform Shraddha with uncooked foodstuff in holy centers. If the Sangritri son performs Shraddha with cooked rice, his Shraddha becomes fruitless, like the food offered by a Shudra to a Brahmin. He can't eat it. Just saying. The grandfather and the other mains do not accept anything offered by him. O foremost among birds, knowing all these things, one shall avoid procreating sons on lower caste women. Excuse me.
Which is probably the whole point of all of this.
Apravrajila, one who has not renounced the world. Apravrajila, and a Shudra procreating sons, even in Brahmin women, procreate only Chandalas.
narrow-minded,
low caste.
but understandable.
O Lord of birds, one shall marry legitimately a woman of his own caste and procreate sons. If they are of good nature, he will be happy. If they are of bad nature, he will go to hell. He will be in hell. Even sons of lower caste people, if good-natured, cause happiness. A single son, free from the sins of Kali, is honored by the Siddhas and fanned by celestial damsels with divine chowries, fly wisps. He will be able to lift hundreds of manes, kinsmen's sons, grandsons, and great-grandsons fallen into the abysmal depths of Inferno.
So it's interesting that they would end with Kali blessing.
Yeah.
So it seemed to be mostly about, what funeral rites are due to you at different ages if you're a boy. And
when you're a boy.
And then which, when you become an adolescent at various stages, whether you're treated as a child or an adult as far as funeral rites go. Because I thought it was especially interesting when they went through this conception to 16 months, 16 to 27 months, 27 month to 5 year, 5 year to 9 years, 9 year to 16 year, and then 16 is considered full grown.
Yep. All the rites required, including big gifts to Brahmins.
And I thought it said 27 at one point, but I couldn't find it again once.
Well, you've got 27 months. I mean, that's...
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
Yeah. Not 27 years.
Yeah.
No, it's... Once you're there, you get all the death rituals, but...
Once you're 5 years old, you're treated as an adult.
Right.
Ritual after that.
Right.
But I just thought it was interesting that they broke it down this way, because it gives you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And they were using words that were obviously translations of Sanskrit words. Because you're an infant at this point, you're a child at this point, you're a boy. Right. Kumara, as opposed to Kumari, girl,
right.
Which, often suggests a virgin child, male or female. And, of course, the whole brahmacharya period leading, before marriage is the studenthood and celibacy.
That's 16 to 27.
No, not 27.
I mean, I should say probably 16.
Somewhere in 5 years to 16.
Like
After
that.
16, they're busy trying to find a wife and marry off this.
So probably 9 to 16.
Mm-hmm. Something like that.
Pretty interesting. Bye.